Welcome to another episode of This Darn Jeep.
Get a better jack than this. This is from one of these auto stores, and it works, but you gotta get a floor jack. I think one of these days I'm gonna get one of those long, really nice aluminum, like 4 pumps and the thing's up. Okay, I'm on the nut of the U-bolt because I don't have much reach. Okay, after you get it jacked up, you've gotta start draining oils. So I'm gonna dump the transfer case out. After you drain the transfer case, you got to drain the transmission. While the oil's dumping out of the transmission, we got to take the seat out just to make it easier to work in there. There's 4 bolts, 2 that are from the bottom and 2 you get up in from the top. Okay, there's one right here. And while I'm here, I might as well unhook the speedometer. It's just so I don't forget to snatch that off. There's another one right here. And another one right there that you've got to get out. You don't have to take the seat out, it just makes it easier. Get rid of these knobs. I really need a skeleton or a 8-ball. Okay, once you get all this rubber out of the way, underneath here there's a collar, and you see how that collar is? You have to push this part down against the spring and turn it, and then the shifter will come out of the transmission. You want to plug this hole because you don't want anything falling down in that hole like a cat or a mouse or something like that. I took all these screws out. Now this cover can come out of the way. Okay, now you're going to take the drive shaft out. That's this little bolt here, this little bolt here, and on the other side that one and that one. Okay, I put a jack here to hold the transmission up because the next thing we're taking off is this big skid plate / transmission holder, and it's got a couple bolts here that hold it to the transmission and like a torque reaction arm rubber thing so the thing doesn't twist too much. You've got these 3 on each side, these big nuts. You really got to get one of these Ryobis. I know I've been pushing them. I don't make any money off Ryobi, but I like them. This is a 200 supposedly foot-pounds torque wrench. We will see. Now the skid pan's out of the way. It's really not that heavy. You got to take the front drive shaft off too, which is same as the back, 4 bolts. And I marked it up in here so I can get it put back together right. Not that it probably doesn't matter, but I want to keep it in line with the U-joints. While I'm under here, I'm taking this mount off. It's kind of the grease is totally delaminated the glue and it's falling apart. I'm going to take this shifter out of the way. To get the shifter off, you've got this little adjuster for your transfer case shifter, but the end of it is flared, so if you loosen that nut, it's not going to come off, because see where they pinched it and they made that end a little fatter. So you gotta put a pry bar in there, and this thing kind of snaps in, and it seems like you're gonna break it, and maybe I did, But you pop that out, and that goes into there. And it popped out fairly easy, which makes me wonder, I might actually drill it and put a cotter pin, because I wouldn't want that to pop out while I'm off banging around in the dirt, you know what I mean? There's a little vacuum thing here you gotta take off. There's a vent hose, that's gotta come off. I think I got everything unhooked. There's 6 bolts or nuts holding the transfer case. Theoretically, this should come off and crush my rib cage. And there it did. Alright. What's hanging up? After you get the transfer case off, you got to take this, I don't know what you'd call it, shifter adapter off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. Remember, these 2 step ones with the extra bolt are to hold the transfer case shifter, so they go on here and here. Okay, the 4 bolts are out. Pull this loose. I don't know if you can see it. This bolt, and I got to get this thing out of here. I'm going to take these off. These are the little spring-loaded things that give your shifter the feel. Here's the little spring-loaded dealies. Got to take those off. Hopefully I won't drop anything in there. So the next thing, there's this Allen plug in the back. Taking that off. Someone's been in this transmission before. Look at the chewed up Allen. They must not have had an Allen and they took it out with a punch. Nice. Gonna try and work that shaft back. And this is the shifter shaft, and it has to come out. Alright, so there's that. Okay, with that shaft out, theoretically this thing will come out like that. And that's the thing that does all the shifting. It fits into a little doohickey there, and you'll want to get that put back in right or it won't shift. Now the goal is to get this back case off. Okay, I got all the bolts out. Don't forget this one right here. This is a Long Daddy. And there you go. There's some balls falling out of there and a few other little things. We'll see where all that came from. So here's, I believe, 5th gear. Well, Hunter, this is the thing I thought was going to go wrong. This snap ring was going to break and this gear slides back. But it's not that. There's something wrong here. I've rigged up a puller. I don't know if these are US threads or SAE or metric, but anyway, I got something that'll kind of half-fast thread in there. I'm going to pull this gear off and then get to this gear under here. I think there's something stripped out in here. There's the synchronizer. That went like that. Okay, I got this snap ring off of here, and this gear is going to come off because I got a new set coming, and I got new stuff coming from here. This was another snap ring, and then you had to use a puller, and then the rest of it just kind of comes apart. This arm will move out of the way enough to clear this gear, but I wouldn't pull it too far because there's probably a detent. Okay, here's the issue with 5th gear. See all those teeth stripped out? This is supposed to cog into these teeth, basically making that one gear, and there's a snap ring that goes around there. I've already pulled that out. This is an interesting piece that was in this little deal here, which was loose. It didn't have anything in there, and what I think it is it's a lockout for reverse gear. See how reverse hits that? Well, without a pin, it can just move. So the pin goes in through this hole with one of these little caps like this. But the pin's not there. So either the pin fell out, maybe that's my whole problem. This is a roll pin, they call it a split pin. I put one of those in there and it fit fairly tight. And now, this thing is much tighter in there. I didn't really like the way that roll pin fits, so I took a punch and I just punched a little bit here, and that deforms the hole a little bit, so the roll pin can't come out into the transmission. When you take this back case off, there's another detent plunger right here on the side. And when I took it off, a ball bearing fell out of the back. So I hunted around for it, and this is where it goes. This comes out the side. That'll be the passenger side.
I've ordered all the parts for the transmission, so while I'm waiting, I'm painting up all the stuff and gonna make it nice. I'm not working with such greasy crap when I go to put it back together.